Shalom, shalom, Israel's brothers, Abba Yalla coming back at you with another cold cut. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. I'd like to give a double honor to the men out there in the highways and byways, pushing the truth and honesty and sincerity, right? Making their bodies a living sacrifice out there on the highways and byways, trying to help seal the hopefully like in the mighty Aquath, the mighty mothers, sisters out there as well, holding down their households, representing their husbands, and guiding their households in honesty and meekness. And the mighty children are out there as well, abiding in their parents' households in this truth by themselves if they're not congregating, abstaining from all the worldly lust and the pure pressure that this world also has to offer. Shalom, shalom. It's going to be a quick cold cut going into brotherly love, fake how to identify fake friends, right? How to spot the people that say they're there for you, but they really not. How to spot these people and how to identify these people, right? That call themselves your brother, but they're not really your brother, right? This is Sirach chapter 6 and verse 7. And it says, if thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. So the Lord said, if you're going to get a friend, prove him first. If you're going to get a friend, you have to prove that person. You have to test that person. You have to know their tendencies. You have to try their ways. Right? How the Lord proves you before you go get into his kingdom. The Lord proving you on the earth right now. When you're going through these demons and temptation and ultimately these different tests, the Lord is proving you, man. You have to prove these people that are around you. Your salvation is critical, man. And you don't want any leeches or any people coming around taking your crown because that's possible. Let's go to Revelation 3 and 11. There's people on the earth that can take your crown, right? Based off their actions and their words. And you got to identify these people. There's Revelation 3 and 11. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take that crown. You don't want nobody taking your crown away from you, man. The Lord has a spiritual body that can be prepared for you up there in the third heaven. Name in the book of life, but it can be etched out as well because somebody can take that crown from you. Somebody took it off your head by giving you that damn vape, by giving you that cigarette. Somebody took it off your head because their actions allowed you to indulge in their ways and you being around them. All right. The Lord said, who's going to pity your charm? All right. Let's go to Proverbs 27 to 17. Because having a faithful friend at the end of the day is very beneficial, but there are not a lot of them out there, man. All right. This Proverbs chapter 7, 27 and 17. This Proverbs chapter 27, 17. Isaiah, what the hell? Shalaki. Proverbs chapter, I was in Isaiah. Proverbs chapter 27 and 17. What does it say? Iron sharpeneth iron, so as a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So iron is going to sharpen iron, right? That swordsman blade is going to sharp that swordsman blade to that point where it wants to be, man, right? And what else does it say? A man that sharpens the countenance of his friend, man. He gonna make his friend be look better, be better spiritually, physically, man. He's gonna sharpen the. You know how brothers go to the gym. You can do one more you can do one push. Now, you did that last rep. Let's put 10. You did that last set. Let's put 10 more pounds on there. I know you can do it. That's sharpening the countenance of your friend. How much more spiritually? Come on, bro. Let's do a video together. All right, let's do a challenge. Let's read together. That's sharpening the countenance of your friend. And the most I say to have a friend like that, man, is very valuable, man. As you read Sirach the sixth chapter. Actually, let's read it. Let's go back to Sirach 6 and 8. The Lord said that a friend like that, man, is valuable. You don't want to trade a friend like that. Sirach 6 and 8. For some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in the day of that trouble. So there's certain men out there, they're only there for their own reasons. They're only there for their own occasions. They're only there for what they can get out of you. And you got to be able to recognize that, man. They're only there for a specific business. They're not going to abide in the day of your trouble. Once you get in trouble, that has nothing to do with them. All right, they're only there for what they can get out of you, and that's it, man. You got to watch for those brothers. Verse 9, and there is a friend who being turned to enmity and strife will discover thy reproach, man. And there's a friend that's going to turn against you. He's going to turn to his reproach. He's going to turn to enmity and strife, try to argue against you, be on the opposite of you. And he's going to discover your approach, man. Right? He's gonna call you out on something. He's gonna put his reproach on you and call you out on it, right? But that's how he really been feeling. There's a person just like that out there in the world, and you call him my best bud, right? Verse 9, verse 10. Again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. And saying again, man, I'm reminding you, there's certain brothers and sisters that's gonna be with you at the table, literally at the table, man, eating with you, right? Have we not learned? Right? When we read Matthew, the 26th chapter, and we're going to get into it. All right. But there's literally a person that was with Yahushua named Judas that turned against the Lord. He was one of the chief 12, man, and sat and ate with the Lord, man. And guess what? He didn't continue in the day of the Lord's affliction. He brought him up, and guess what? And let the council do their thing with him, man. Right? Kill him. Our Lord and Savior. That happened to our Lord and Savior. You don't think that's going to happen to you or can happen to you? Right? Verse 11, but in thy prosperity he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy servants. And that's what they in the world they call a wingman, right? You on top, yeah, that's my man's right there, that's my guy, right? Hey, he said he will even be bold over your own servants. He will be just like you. Yeah, y'all heard the man. Yeah, that's my guy, that's my friend over there. Hey, back up, back up, back up. You see these rappers, they do that all the time. Hey, back up, don't get too close to him. All right, hold on, brother. Who made you the security guard? But that's his friend though, and he gonna try to have that spirit over him, and he gonna even be bold over his own servants, man. Didn't he say get that chip out the fridge 10 minutes ago? How much longer is 10 minutes? And he yelling at him over your chips, man. All right, there's a friend like that out there, man. Not saying it's not bad, good to have those friends, but you got to recognize these people. Why? Because verse 12 says, "What if thou be brought low, he will be against thee." That same man that was just being bold over your servant, that was being as yourself in the day of your prosperity. Guess what? If you be brought low, you lose your riches, you lose the thing, the opportunity, and what he wanted and what he saw in you for. Guess what? He's gonna hide yourself from his. He's gonna hide himself from your face, man. You kind of call, reach out, that phone go straight to voicemail. He's not there no more. There's people on the earth like this, man. And you got to discover if those people are around you or not, man. All right. Verse 14, verse 13. And it says, actually, let's go to Proverbs 18 and 19. Actually, let's read on. Verse 13. Separate thyself from thine enemies and take heed of thy friends. The Lord said you got to watch out. We always bring out that first part, separate thyself from thy enemies. But the Lord also said you got to beware of who you call a friend in these last days. The Lord only called people his friend he was ready to die for. The Lord only called people his friend he was ready to die for. All right, let's get that. Let's go to John chapter 15. It's John chapter 15 and verse 12. This is my commandment that you love one another as I have loved you. So let's see how much the Lord loved us. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. So the Lord said, I'm laying down my life for only my friends, man. And he laid down his life for all of us in this truth, man. That's deep. Not everybody's in this truth. Not everybody's in this truth, man. And the people that is in this truth, not everybody sincerely keeping these commandments. Not everybody sincerely being that same friend the Lord was to us, man. And guess what? He laid down his life for us. How much more you, when you call somebody your friend, you can't just call somebody a friend and just walk away and like, yeah, that was my friend right there. And you can't be having that spirit, man, because some of these people will turn on you, man. Right? Will turn their back utterly on you and forget that you even existed if you be not for their profit. Right? So the Lord said, take heed of thy friends. Beware of the people that you around. The Lord, you don't think the Lord knew Judas in his ways, man? The Lord knew how he was going to die. The Lord knew, but he had patience and long suffering towards him at the end of the day and showed forgiveness to him. All right, let's go to the book of let's go back to that Sirach. All right, it's Sirach chapter 6 and 14. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that hath found such a one hath found a treasure. And that's going back to what I said earlier. Not every brother, not every sister is a treasure, man. You're gonna have people around you that you just know they're there for their profit, man, for your profit, right? Slaki for their profit. They're there for their own benefit, and you gotta identify these people, man, because the Lord said finding a friend is like finding the faithful. Is finding like finding treasure. Last time I checked, you just don't go outside to find treasure. You gotta find it. You gotta look for it. You gotta go through many rocks. You gotta go through many falsehoods, many fake friendships. Many people say I love you and they don't really love you to find that one faithful treasure, man. And when you get that faithful treasure, you don't want to lose that treasure as well. You don't want to countervail your friend. right? To enmity and strife, right? Verse 15, nothing doeth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is unvaluable. His your friend's excellency is unvaluable, man. That person that's gonna lay down their life for you, and vice versa, man. That relationship. Hey, how did Jonathan love David, man? He even took off his own clothes and gave it over to David, man. All right. And it says, verse 17, whoso feareth the Lord shall discover his friendship aright. Dishlakif shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. So the Lord said, if you fear him, he will give you a faithful friend. If you fear him, the Lord will give you a faithful wife. The Lord will give you kids, righteous children. The Lord will give you all these different things. But you don't want to jam that up. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 18. If you identify that, man, you don't want to jam it up to your own pride and your own lust. So one part is identifying faithful friends, and another part is after you identify them, man, what do? Right? You got to sharpen them up. You got to sharpen their countenance, man. You got to keep them going in this thing. You got to exhort them, man. You got to love them, man, as the Lord loved you. It's Proverbs chapter 18 and 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, man. Imagine taking down David took down many. Hey, King David took down many strong cities. King Solomon seen many strong cities too, man. And he said through this, the Lord said through this spirit of his servants, right? And guess what? Coming back to a friend that's offended is harder to be won than a strong city. That's a hard task, man. Because now he shut that barrier. He drew that line in the sand. You will never go past that line again, man. He never gonna open up to you as he did before. All right. And it says, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. And their contentions are, hey, it's strong as hell, man, against you. You will never get that close to him. Hey, brother seen that movie ATL when he thought his when T.I. Thought his friends betrayed him because they kept that secret about his woman, man. They knew about his woman, but he didn't know. And guess what? Hey, I don't want to kick it with you no more. I don't want to skate with you no more. I don't want to do none of these things with you no more, man. And he was like, "Come on, man. Hey, hear him out." No, I don't want to hear him out. It's over with, man. That's your contentions being stronger than the bars of a castle, man. And your friend can have that against you if you bring him to that point. Right? Let's go to the book of Sirach 9 and 10. Actually, let's go to the book of Sirach 27. It's Sirach 27 and verse 14. I start at verse 16. Whoso discovereth secrets loseth his credit and shall never find a friend to his mind. So one way you can uh, bring your friend to that point, right, is you discovering secrets about your friend, or you telling secrets about your guy, man. Right, you're gonna lose your credit when you discover secrets. That means you over here, all you're telling secrets, man. You're gonna lose your credit, and you're never gonna find a friend to your mind. Nobody's ever gonna trust you, like with their information, and that's ultimately what builds relationship is information that people can trust you with, man, and they know they're not going to betray them. Right, verse 17, the Lord said, love thy friend and be faithful unto him, but if thou be raised his secrets, follow no more after him. The Lord said, if you tell that brother secrets that he told you about his mom, father, family, or whatever, man, that he wants you to let anybody know, the Lord said, you might as well never follow after him, man. He gone. It's over with. What you gonna do? Tell him sorry for betraying your secrets, man. Those are his. It's still gonna be his secrets after you betray him. It's just not everybody gonna know, man. Right? And it says, verse 18, for a man hath destroyed his enemy, so hast thou lost the love of thy neighbor. So as badly as beating your enemy into utter corruption, the Lord said that, hey, that's how you lost the love of your neighbor, man. It's destroyed, man. The way you destroyed your enemy is the way that love is destroyed, man. They ain't never coming back. It's dead. It's in the grave. That's deep, man. The Lord said that love that brother had for you, and vice versa, that you may have had for a brother, is dead, man. Ain't no coming back from that. Verse 18, as one that letteth a bird go out of his hand, so has thou let thy neighbor go and shall not get him again. Yeah, you outside and you let a bird go out your hand, man. You don't even know the direction where that bird went. You take two blinks like this, and the bird is somewhere in damn already headed south somewhere, man. And you don't know where it went. You're not gonna recall that bird. You're not gonna go on a bird hunt to look that for that one specific bird that was in your hand. It's gone, man. Ain't no coming back. These analogies that the Lord is saying is whole cold, man. Right? The Lord said, "What follow after him no more, for he is too far off. He has a roe that escaped out of the snare." And imagine a deer getting out of a trap. You ain't catching that deer. That gazelle's gone, man. Just like your friend. Verse 21. As for a wound, it may be bound. So you can heal a wound. Even with a friend on a friendship level, y'all can get into it. Y'all can get into a fight, and that can just be a dark history, y'all friendship. But what? And as for a wound, it may be bound up, and after reviling, there may be a reconcilement. After reviling, y'all may get into an argument. It may be an upbraiding, right? It may be, yeah, it may be a harsh correction, right? Maybe have been in front of other people, but that can be reconciled. Y'all can come back together. Somebody can call a council and say y'all need to shake hands. And what Jay do? We can get some food, right? You can do that. But what? But he that bewray of secrets is without hope. The Lord said, "You without hope." The Lord said, "Ain't no coming back from that." The Lord said, "You're done, man." All right? The Lord will remove that brother from your life and give him to somebody else that's going to be more faithful and that's not going to be foolish, man. So you got to examine, are you that type of person that is that fake friend that does bewray secrets, right? That does do these different things, that does just let people into your life and be hasty to give them credit? Are you that type of person? Or are you that person that knows how to identify these fake friends? That's not gonna let anybody just get over on you, man. That's discipline and identifying different individuals. Which one are you, man? All right, and ultimately that comes with experience, man. You got to experience a lot of different people in your life. You got to experience the different natures of people, how people move, how people act, right? The people that came into your life, what they did, right, and how they showed themselves to be a great friend, and the people that came into your life in that life, man, and was in your life for only filthy lucre. What did they do? The Lord is teaching you how to identify these people through the precepts. All right, let's go to Sirach chapter 9 and 10. It's the book of Sirach chapter 9 and verse 10. Forsake not an old friend, for the new is not comparable to him. A new friend is as new wine. When it is old, thou shalt drink it with pleasure. So the Lord said, you don't want to forsake an old friend, man, either. Right? Well, it's like old wine, the Lord says, man. You know that person you kind of grew up with that just know you, right? The Lord said you don't want to forsake an old friend at the end of the day, right? When it's old, you want to drink it with, you want to drink that wine with pleasure, man. So that's how the Lord's comparing an old friend. Just because you get a lot of new friends, or you got, you met new brothers on your path to the kingdom, you don't want to forsake that old brother, that used to that you be with, man, in righteousness. That kind of provokes you to righteousness. All right. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 12. All right. What the Lord say? Devise not a lie against thy brother. And ultimately, you can lose that old friend and that new friend by devising a lie against your neighbor, right? And it says, neither do the like to thy friend. Stop. And you don't want to be lying to your peoples, man. Stop lying to your peoples. You're always lying about something. They ask you, where'd you go? You just lied about it. Went to the store, but you really just came back from the store, all right? And you really went to Tasha's house and Keisha's house, but you just mentioned you went to the store. You're lying, brother, right? But you're doing that to your friends, man. That's how you can lose your friends just like that as well, right? Let's go to the book of John. Let's go to Matthew 26 and 47. Judas lied to the Lord, man. Right? Judas lied to the Lord. And he kissed him on his damn cheek all the way into the end. Right? It's Matthew chapter 26 and verse 47. And while he yet spake, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude, with swords and staves from the chief priests and the elders of the people. So Judas just sat down and ate with the Lord. Now, a few hours later, man, a few hours later, betrayed the Lord and came with a great multitude. And what? Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, the same as he hold him fast. And forthwith he came to Yahushua and said, Hail, Master, and kissed him. He lied to the Lord. He said, Hail, even to the end, called him Master and kissed him on his cheek like he was his best friend. All right. And it says, and Yahushua sent him, Friend, wherefore art thou come? And that's deep because the Lord said he would lay down his life for his friends, and he still called Judas a friend even after he was betrayed, meaning the Lord still laid down his life for Judas, man. Right? At the end of the day. He said, Friend, wherefore art thou come? Then came they, and they laid hands on Yahushua and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Yahushua stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. And hey, in Yahushua's affliction, you found out Peter was faithful unto the Lord, even though he denied him 3 times. He was still faithful in the spirit to the Lord, man. Right? But Judas lied to the Lord, and Judas betrayed the Lord, man. So ultimately, you want to have a type of love for your friend, and you want to know how to identify that as well. Right? Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 20 and 17. It's 1 Samuel chapter 20 and 17. And Jonathan caused David to swear again because he loved him, and for he loved him as he loved his own soul. So Jonathan loved King David as if he loved his own soul, man. And you're not gonna want to defraud your soul. That's why we keeping these commandments to the best of our ability, because you don't want to defraud your soul, man. Hey, and you want to protect your spirit, right? And you want to do that as hard as possible. Hey, that's how Jonathan said, you know what? Just like my own soul, I'm gonna love him like he was my own soul, man. And that's love right there. And that's compassion at the end of the day, man. Can you really say that about your friend? Can that friend really say that about you at the end of the day? Do they want to see you make it as much as they want to see themselves make it, man? Jonathan had that love for David. All right. Let's jump down to verse 23. And as touching the matter which thou I have spoken of, behold, the Lord is between thee and me forever, man. So David hid himself in the field, and when the new moon was come to, the king sat him down to eat meat. So, hey, he said he loved him. He said, first of all, the Lord is between me and you forever, man. Right? Jonathan didn't, he didn't kill his friendship with King David, man, because of his father. He ultimately stood up for him, man, and bowed and reverenced King David, man, right? In spite of his father. What if your family member didn't like was trying to kill your friend, and your friend was righteous doing it? Are you gonna stand up for that friend? Are you gonna stand up for that person, man? Hey, that's what Jonathan did for his brother, man. At the end of the day, let's go to Matthew chapter 12. Who did the Lord call his family members? The Lord said, "Those that do the will of my Father." Right? It's Matthew chapter 12. The Lord didn't give a damn if he was his family member or not. Like just like Jonathan. Let's go to Matthew chapter 12 and 47. Then one said unto him, Behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without desiring to speak with you. So this is his blood mother and his blood brother. They wanted to speak to the Lord while the Lord, was teaching the people. But what? But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother and who are my brethren? And he stretched forth his hand and toward his disciples. He says he stretched forth his hands to the brothers that did the work with him, and said, What? And behold, my mother and my brethren, for whos for whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. He said, So who's doing this work with me? Who's putting in his labor with me? That's my brother, that's my sister, and that's my mother, man. And that's the type of look, and we know that the Lord would lay down His life for those for His disciples, man, because He did. All right, let's go back to John 19 and 14. Let's go to John chapter 19 and 14. Actually, it's not what I want. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 27 and verse 6. So, this is another thing that friends do as well. It says, Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. So your friend, the truth is always gonna hurt, man. Not always, but the truth is, is more oftentimes gonna hurt, right? And it's because it's not always what you want to hear. It says faithful are the wounds of a friend. Mean your friend's gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, man. It's gonna tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. But what? The kisses of an enemy are deceitful, meaning your enemy's always gonna tell you what you want to hear. That's called a yes man, right? You don't want to be a yes man to different brothers, or you want people around you. You want people around you to keep it real with you, man. All right, then I'm gonna read that again. Proverbs chapter 27:6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful, man. So if you have people around you that's your yes man, they're not correcting you. They don't want to tell you. They're only telling you what you want to hear, just so you can kind of keep giving them gifts and benefits. That's not the person you need around you, man. That's not the person that needs to be in your circle, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Zechariah 8:16. Right? What the Lord said. What is the person that you need around you? It's Zechariah. All right, 8:16. And it says, these are the things that you shall do. Speak ye every man the truth to his neighbor. So the Lord said, these are things you should do. You have to speak the truth to your neighbor. You have to tell your brother the truth. The Lord said, devise not a lie against thy brother. As we just read in Sirach, the seventh chapter. Seventh chapter. The Lord said, you have to speak truth to your neighbor. If you really love your neighbor, you're going to tell him the truth. All right. Executing the judgment of truth and peace in your gates. And let none of you imagine evil in your hearts against his neighbor, and love no false oath, for all these are things I hate, saith the Lord. So the Lord said he hates these different things. This is what gets the Lord angry, man. It's when you're not, if you're not being truthful to your brother, your sister, you're not executing the judgment of peace in your gates, right? Meaning you're not being equitable, you're not being righteous or fair, right? You're imagining evil in your hearts, right? And what else? You loving false oaths. The Lord's not dealing with any of those things. So ultimately, at the end of the day, these are through the precepts. You want to know how to identify a fake friend. What is a fake friend? What does a real friend actually look like? What are they going to do? What are their tendencies of both an individual that's made not be there for you, and an individual that will that'll lay down their life for you? How to identify these individuals? Are you one of these individuals, man? Self-examination, with ourselves, that's always, needed to understand how we're dealing with our fellow neighbor, how we're dealing with our fellow brother and sister. Because the Lord said, if you offend a little one, man, you might as well hang yourself in the middle of a river somewhere. And you can offend a little one just based off your actions, man. Right? Because you're still a representation of this truth. And if you belittling your friend, at the end of the day, the Lord said you might as well just destroy yourself, man. Because that can lead, that can do something to their spirit. All right? Let me get one more. Let's go to Sirach chapter 37. Let's get the classic. It's Sirach 37, verse 12. But be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So the Lord said, ultimately, you want to be with a person that's what? That's known for keeping the commandments, right? And that's according to your mind and spirit. They're going to talk about the precepts with you. They're going to talk about the scriptures with you. They're not going to talk about damn whores, females sporting with you with their own deceivings unto their utter corruption. They're not going to do that, right? But they're going to provoke you to righteousness, and you're going to provoke them to righteousness, man. All right, so I like to give all praise to Yahweh Bashim, Hamashiach Wamak Yahushua. I like to give a mighty, mighty strong shalom.